World of Warcraft is too complicated for new players. Um, I don't know if that's true or not. Since I am a new player, I think it's not been too bad, but let's see what
Would we love
this
to see some new
person has to
faces in the
say.
AWC? Sadly, there's almost nobody playing PvP anymore. Would we love to see some new faces in the AWC?
Huh?
Sadly, there's almost nobody playing PvP anymore. I'd say there's
Repeated.
nobody playing PvP, but yeah, there's not a lot of new people playing World of Warcraft. I mean, World of Warcraft is not a very accessible game. You know what I mean? Here's the
Hmm.
biggest problem with World of Warcraft, okay? Like, kids these days are like mega zoomers. Even I find myself, I'm like this. I just want, like, this is the TikTok age, you know? Like, we want our instant gratification. We don't have to, like, want to do anything. Like, let me give you a for instance, okay? Like,
Well, I'm not one of those people. I'm a
let's do a
little
little
older
thought
than that.
experiment,
So,
okay? Little thought experiment, chat. Okay? Imagine you're a kid and you're looking for a new video game to play, and you're browsing YouTube and you see two games. The first game you see is World of Warcraft 3v3 Arena. Okay? And you're watching Peekaboo and he's on his sub rogue, and oh my god, he's looking fly. Peekaboo is making plays. He's cheap shotting this guy,
okay.
he's gouging this guy, he's blind sapping that guy, he's one shotting that guy. He's a hero, he's a legend, he's the two-time, gets the dub. And you're thinking, wow, I want to be like Peekaboo when I grow up. So you look and you want to try World of Warcraft. You're like, I want to play 3v3 Arena. That sounds awesome. I want to play Sub Rogue. So you buy World of Warcraft. You download World of Warcraft.
Can I be honest? I don't know what the heck he's talking about. I've never done PvP. I'm just trying to, like, understand what the game's even about right now. Okay.
You make your character, and then you're like, wait, what? Can I just play Arena? No. You have to level. Okay, well,
What's
I guess I'll
arena?
level.
Sorry. I know
And then
that sounds so
you level
funny.
up. Okay, you level up your rogue so you could be like Peekaboo. Okay, can I
Okay.
play now? No, you can't play now. Now you have to grind honor gear. And on top of grinding honor gear, you also need to start working on your crafted gear because you want to have the
you'll
right
lose?
embellishments. Well, what are embellishments? Well, embellishments are these little additions that you can add to your gear that make you a lot more powerful. And if you don't have them, you're probably screwed. Okay, well,
Okay.
I guess I'll do that too. So what do I need to do? Like my campaign? Yeah, get on the campaign, do it up. All right. Now that you've got your honor gear, you
Okay.
need to start queuing, and you need to work on your conquest gear. Don't worry, you are way behind on gear and you're at a big disadvantage, but it's really no problem. Oh, wait, you're actually really screwed because you don't have any add-ons. Okay, so what you really need to do
That's a
is you need
lot.
to go download a program called CurseForge, okay? Now download CurseForge and you can get these different add-ons, okay? So you're going to need S Arena so you can track all your diminishing returns. You're going to need to set up Tell Me When so you can see like when your abilities and procs are up to do optimal damage.
So you have to add
You're
things.
going to need to set up Omni CD so you can see your teammates' abilities. You need to set up Omnibar so you can track
What?
the enemy abilities. And then on top of that, you're going to need to get details. So whenever you get one shot, you can try to figure out what killed you immediately.
So when he says add-ons, does he mean like mods? I'm so sorry if I sound really I really don't know, and I'm trying to understand.
Okay, now let me know when you get all of that set up. Okay, great. Now your gear still sucks, so you're gonna have to grind that out for a little bit to be on an even playing field. And I know you're just getting one
Okay.
shot all over the place, but you're
Sounds
gonna figure
like
it
a
out
lot.
eventually. And that's why you need to download Mez's Weak Aura package, because even though you're not exactly sure what's gonna kill you,
What?
when enough horns and whistles go off, you'll be able to figure it out. Okay, and then it's like, what the fuck? I'm Alt F4. Okay, like that's why new people are a little intimidated when it comes to World of Warcraft PvP.
Well, if you would give me a whole instruction video, maybe I would do it.
It tunes into like a Counter-Strike tournament, and he's watching Fraud. Fraud probably hasn't played in a million years, but it's all I know. Okay, he's watching Fraud from Complexity from 2008, op people. And he's like, oh my god, Fraud's so good at opping, I want to op. And then he downloads the game and starts playing. And that's it.
Okay.
The end.
Oh, I see.
It's a pretty jarring comparison. And
Just
I feel
less
like
complicated.
it's the biggest obstacle when it comes to World of Warcraft PvP. What's up, Zarya? It's the biggest obstacle when it comes to World of Warcraft is it's very difficult. An MMORPG, and listen, I have to give a lot of credit to the developers, because for us who've been around for a long time, the gearing process has gotten a lot better over time. You know what I mean? Like I do think there's a lot of positives to this expansion. I feel like they've done a really good job making it more convenient and better for us, but that doesn't change the fact that it is
hard for new people.
extremely complicated to play this game. If you're a new player in World of Warcraft, good luck.
Well, it depends what your goals are. He's talking about PvP, I believe. So, I mean, just play the campaign. If you're a new player, just play everything like the campaign and just figure that out first. And then move forward to other things.
All I'm saying. Good freaking luck. So that's why I think a lot of people, as sad as it is to say, and I think it's important to at least admit this, because then maybe in the future we can move forward and make it better for people to, try World of Warcraft and play PvP, because that would be ideal. But I think it's important to admit that it's a lot easier for people to just play other games. You just log on and play. That's it.
I get what he's saying. It's just like, they have to learn that too. They had to learn that. He had to learn this too at some point. Everyone has to learn it. And like, yeah, attention spans are way shorter these days. And I guess that's just a consequence of social media, TikTok. It's like, what can you do?
Like, you just play League. You just play Dota.
You don't have to do the PvP 3 versus 3 arena or whatever.
The issue is the elitism. The elitism shouldn't even exist, though. You think when I play Overwatch, I care about elitism? No. I just queue up and I can play. I download Overwatch and I play. There's no elitism. I just get ranked. There's enough people playing where I just queue, and if I suck, I get put into bronze, and if I'm pretty good, then I get put into gold, and if I'm a little better than good, I get to be diamond, and you know what I mean? I'm just playing against people that are relatively skill level. There's no elitism gatekeeping it. The only reason there's elitism is because I feel like the community is relatively small, so it's hard to actually get into groups. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where I think solo shuffle, this is actually what I believe.
What the heck is that?
And people are going to hate me for saying this, I believe the future
of WoW PvP
is solo shuffle. And I think there is a lot of things that need to be done to make it as ideal as possible. But I'm telling you, a solo queue mode is the only reason that I feel like World of Warcraft gains popularity in PvP.
Okay, so they only have multiple PvP. They don't have like 1v1. That's weird. Why would they not have that? I'm sure that someone knows the answer to that. Y'all can tell me if you do.
Dragonflight, when people played solo shuffle, when it was new, it was exciting, it was fresh, there was lots of people queuing, the queue times weren't too long. People finally got to play the game. There's so many people that want to play PvP, but they just sit in LFG all day long. And then they play one game in LFG, and then they get kicked out of the group, and then they're back to LFG. So solo shuffle was actually like their godsend, where they could just play. Oh my god, I've got an hour, I'm going to log on, I'm going to play some solo shuffle. Great, I'm in this game, I get to play, it's fun, I'm gaining my rating, I'm getting my rewards, this is amazing.
So they get rid of it?
In Season 2, with like ratings being gatekept and stuff like that, I feel like it lost a little bit of popularity, but hopefully it'll pick back up now that they've added some more rating and stuff like that. But yeah, I really feel like a solo queue mode actually is like the future of WoW. I know you guys hate me saying that. I don't even want to admit it to myself.
Why? Why does that mean
some better way for people to queue threes? It's always going to be this thing where it's like you have such an extremely difficult time to play unless you already have friends, which lots of people don't, or unless you're already heavily invested in the community, which a lot of people aren't, Like they don't have
that's the reality.
There are people that are even super invested in the community, they can't find anyone to play with. Most of the time, I log on, nobody wants to play. I have a friends list full of like gladiators and rank ones and stuff. Like 90% of the time, nobody wants to play.
No.
So I just sit in LFG or I sit in solo shuffle,
Yeah, like that's the reality. If there's not enough people to play, you have to change it up.
Whereas when I want to play Overwatch,
why would that make people mad?
Game. I want to play Dota, log on, game, 2 seconds. So I don't know exactly how we get there, but I feel like it's important, I think, that there is a good solo queue mode. And there's got to be like more convenience. Like I really want more people to play WoW. I do. I love this game. I'm not.
It's fun. I really like it.
I'm not shit talking. World of Warcraft is literally that. Like
it's
I've
amazing.
dedicated my life to this game in a lot of ways. So
true.
I love this game. I want nothing but its success. But I feel like there's some hurdles that need to be jumped over, and I feel like there's got to be like some changes, like some big changes. How
does he play and talk like that? Like my brain can only focus on one thing at a time. So if I'm playing, I'm probably like mouth open drooling, and he's just giving a whole like dissertation on this.
And I hate add-ons. It's a different conversation, but I hate add-ons. I think that the UI needs to be improved and add-ons need to be pruned from the game. And I think if for no other reason than making it more accessible to new players, that is good enough for me. But yeah, it's an interesting take. I know a lot of people disagree with me. That's fine. I'm willing to change my mind on what I'm saying as well. Like I'm not totally set in my ideas, but I do feel like I'm on the right track as to why it's hard for people to want to play, There's too many abilities right now too. Legion was the last surge of new players. The game sector ran and grew because it's the most simplistic in recent times. I really do believe that. I'm not gonna lie. This is something we watched yesterday. You guys want to see it? I genuinely believe with all of my heart and soul that damage rotations in this game are way too complicated. Like,
damage rotations are too complicated.
There's too many modifiers. There's too many cooldowns. There's too many abilities. Okay. And a perfect example is an Arcane Mage PvE guide. I'm going to show you this, okay? This is going to freaking blow your mind.
I don't know
we're
what
just going to watch this for a second. Imagine you're a new player and someone's trying to explain this to you, okay? You're like, I want to get into raiding. How do
Oh,
I do
now,
damages?
okay. All these like specific things, it's like you got to do a math equation. Yeah, no,
Arcane
I
Mage.
don't understand
Let's watch.
this.
Now let's head into this single target rotation. 15 seconds before the pull, you want to be spamming Arcane Explosions, fish for clear casting procs. This part may vary based on your haste levels, but in general, 9 seconds before the pull starts, you want to cast Evocation so we can start stacking Siphon Storm. At around 3 seconds, you want to cast a Rune of Power into an Arcane Blast precast and Arcane Orb. The pull has now begun, and we already have 4 Arcane charges, so we're ready to start our Arcane Surge burn. However, this burn will change based on if you have double time warp.
You sped it up, and I can't even keep up on a normal speed. What are you talking about? What is
So if you're
happening?
popping double time warp, you want to immediately stack Arcane Harmony to 20, then continue with the burn rotation. If you aren't popping double time warp, then you don't have to worry about Arcane Harmony, and can immediately start with Radiant Spark when the pull begins. After Radiant Spark, we cast 3 Arcane Blasts into Arcane Surge and another Tempest. Now, if time warp is up, you want to cast Arcane Blast and spell Q Arcane Barrage into it. If you're not sure what it means to spell Q, I'll have an explanation of it down in the description.
Oh god.
If you're not in time warp, then forget about Arcane Blast, just cast Arcane Barrage and touch of the Magi while Barrage is traveling, but right before it lands. The reason that we pop Touch of the Magi while Barrage is traveling is so that we gain about an extra second of Touch of the Magi uptime while still benefiting from Barrage inside it. Also, Touch of the Magi itself gives us 4 Arcane charges, so right after Touch of the Magi, we want to follow a simple priority list. Nether Precision buffed Arcane Blasts, clear cast Arcane Missiles, and regular
Literally
Arcane
made me
Blasts.
yawn.
Now, due to Arcane Bombardment, if your target
The
is under
heck's
35% health,
happening?
you want to Barrage and have it land just before Touch of the Magi ends. Otherwise, use Presence of Mind to fit one last Arcane Blast into Touch. And finally, if you're in double Bloodlust, you want to cast a Barrage on the last global of your Arcane Surge buff. Otherwise, just follow the priority list as usual, and once your Arcane Surge buff wears off, cast Shifting Power, and that's the end of the Arcane Surge burn. Now, I know this may be a lot to take in all at once, especially since the rotation changes so much based on if Lust is active or if the target's an execute. My best advice would be, take it one step at a time, first learn the rotation without Lust or execute, and then gradually start incorporating the other conditionals. To help you out with this, I created a cheat sheet that you can find in the description of this video, and it'll have everything you need to know about the rotation, so you can have that pulled up on the side while practicing.
To be fair, at least they gave like clear instructions. They're just, I mean, clear as in like each step is listed out, but yeah, that's a lot. But I can't appreciate
come on,
the
man.
direct
Like,
steps.
come on, bro. That is too much, man.
It's a lot.
Like, it's too much. I get it. People, you want the rotations to be interesting enough where you're not just playing classic spamming Frostbolt. I totally understand that. And maybe you don't even want the rotation as simple as like Wrath of the Lich King, where like you're spamming Arcane Blast, you have charges, you buff up, like your abilities are getting buffed by your charges, and then you use your Barrage to dump your charges and reset. And if you happen to get a proc, you use it. Like, I feel like there's enough complexity there, or it's still fun. But like Legion was a good example too of like the rotations weren't too ridiculous, but now it's like it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. So yeah. Anyways, that's what I think. I think there's like some challenges that face World of Warcraft, and like I said, I love this game, but
Okay.
the rotations for
I think it's
some things are a bit
reasonable.
convoluted. Yeah, 100%. Legion had so much choice just because everything did stuff. Like half your buttons
The
don't.
ID say rotations for some things are a bit convoluted.
A little bit, yeah. I'm not even joking. You
Yeah.
need like a 4-year college degree to be able to DPS as Arcane. You need literally like a 4-year college degree to DPS as an Arcane Mage in PvE. It's way too crazy.
God.
Shadow Priest is just as complicated, but these 2 specs are exceptions. I mean, I was looking at let me see if I can find it. I made a list of Frost Mage abilities. These are just attacks.
Okay.
Look at this, okay?
Fun fact, I am Fire Mage,
This is
so
Frost
it's
Mage
close
after
enough.
the rework. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys this. As a Frost Mage after the rework, these are your attack buttons. These are all things you need to have keybind to do damage. You need to have Frostbolt, Ice Lance, Flurry, Frozen Orb, Blizzard, Cone of Cold, Frost Nova, Fire Blast, Arcane Explosion, Blast Wave, Ray of Frost, Glacial, Ice Nova, Comet Storm. Ebon Bolt actually got pruned. They literally pruned it. So Ebon Bolt did get pruned. But then for
Why?
your Water Elemental alone, you need Water Jet Keybind, you need Pet Attack Keybind, you need Pet Freeze Keybind, and then if you happen to PvP, you also need to use Ring of Fire, and you also need to use Frostbomb. And these are just attacks. It's a lot. Now, I've heard people have the opinion that there are people that have the opinion that it's better to have more attacks, which means more options, which means higher skill cap. Like, I've had that conversation with people, but it's a bit much. I think compared to like, this is Legion.
It's a lot, but like
Legion,
just having those isn't the problem. It's
you
like
had spammable Arcane Blast, Explosion, and Barrage. When you got procs, you used missiles. You had Arcane Orb as a short CD. You had Mark of Alaneth and Arcane Power and Palm as your long CDs.
oh my brain.
You had 4 defensives: Temp Shield, Priz Cloak, Ice Block, Greater Invis. Your utilities were Mass Invis, Shimmer Displacement, Nova Slow, Spell Steal. And it was the most fun spec ever. This is literally one of the most fun specs I've ever played in my entire life. League of Legends has like, well, that's what Zico says. Like, he's like, why is League of Legends so fun to play? Like, why are MOBAs so fun to play? You have 4, 5, 6 buttons. Maybe and then you add like Flash or whatever. You have like 7 buttons. But every button does something meaningful. Every button you press feels like it actually matters. Oh, but there's been plenty of times, Axton, where those little buttons. Oh, listen, I understand, man. Like, yeah, I get it. World of Warcraft is never going to be a game that has 5 buttons, but I feel like you could have like 20. You could have like 20 buttons, and that's fine. 20 is kind of a lot for casual gamers. Yeah, even 20 is fucking crazy, but it's better than
Yeah, that
40.
sounds like a lot to me,
Ability
but
prune after
yeah.
one pretty disliked. Well, it's because they pruned like iconic, really fun abilities like grounding totem. It's not like, yeah, they pruned like really crazy important abilities. The biggest reason I
Why?
can't play retail right now is the complex damage rotations. Complex damage rotations are not what makes combat fun for me. It's not what makes combat fun for a lot of people, man. Like, it should not be. I'm telling you, even if you want to have like a bunch of like utility spells that are interesting, I'm down for that. But I swear the way you deal damage in this game is way too complicated. I really believe that. I think most specs, their damage rotation is way too convoluted. There's way too many buttons that don't really do that much, but you're still forced to press. Like, how many spells do you think should be in a damage rotation? Like 5 single target, like 2 or 3 AoE or something like that, and a couple cooldowns. I had a lot of fun in TBC just pressing Ice Lance and Frostbolt. Yeah, you're playing Arcane by choice, but you don't like complex damage rotations? Well, believe it or not, Arcane's damage rotation is significantly less complicated in PvP. It's still complicated. Like, the concepts are complicated, but the actual buttons you press are way less complicated. The complexity of the game is what is killing its popularity. Making it easier to play would pull in more people, but it would make it less appealing for people that can play for hours on end every day. I don't think that's true, though.
AWC predictions for the weekend.
I don't think that's true. In BFA, they tried to make it easier to play and it had the opposite effect. I feel like Legion was pretty, like, I feel like Legion had pretty clean rotations. I kind of agree with Knight. Like, I feel like all the specs that I played in Legion were, like, they were good. How do we get more people to play baseball? Let's make everyone use T-bars. We actually had, this is kind of like a repeat of a conversation we were having earlier.
Right. It's like,
I think the biggest
I'm sure some people are going to see it as like, oh, just make the game easier for people like me. I don't know. I mean, there's a space for those things. If you just play the normal game, you don't have to worry so much about these
things. It takes a really long
things.
time to get into WoW. Like, the major challenges WoW has is, like, if somebody watches WoW and then wants to play it, going from watching it to playing what you're seeing is months of work. Months and months and months and months and months of work. And then also, even if you do all the work, like, another challenge with WoW, and like...
Sure, but, you know, I feel like people understand these streamers, like, this is their career. This is what they do every day. They've done this for years, probably. And it's like, if I just go play it, it's going to be way different for me.
I keep feeling like I need to say this because,
fine.
like I said, I love this game. Dedicated my life to this game. Favorite game I've ever played in my whole life. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way. Even if you do everything. So here's another problem with WoW is even if you do everything. Let's say you actually buy the game. You level up your character. You farm full honor gear and full conquest gear. You download all the add-ons you need. You set up all the add-ons you need.
Yes.
Everything is great. You farmed everything. You spent weeks and weeks and weeks, months and months and months. You finally got everything. Most of the time, you're just gonna log in and not have anyone to play threes with, so you can't play. Or if you're gonna solo shuffle, it takes 30 minutes in queue.
Ooh,
That's the biggest obstacle.
30 minutes? Okay. Good points. It was interesting watching it as someone who is a new player, you know, because from my perspective, it you know, I can kind of see what he's saying. But yeah, good video. I will link it in the description as always. Go watch it, give it a like, and I will see y'all in the next one.